Hi guys! Today's video is gonna be a review of the Notebook Therapist bullet journals that I've now been using since the beginning of this year. We're first gonna list some basic information about them, then do a few tests and also compare them to other notebooks I have in my collection. So the one I've been using is the Tsuki Fuji-san notebook in the A5 size. And I'm just gonna say that I bought this notebook with my own money. This video is not sponsored in any way, but later they did also send me this newer Sakura notebook that I thought I'd also show in this video since I have it. But these A5 size notebooks come with 176 dotted pages and there are no pre-made pages in these. The paper has that crispy white color that I personally love and it's also 160 GSM thick, which makes it comparable with the Archer and Olive notebooks and other high quality bullet journals out there. There's no pen loop, but you get 2 bookmarks, a back pocket, and these vegan faux leather covers. When I first received the first notebook, I thought that this leather cover wasn't maybe the best quality I've seen. It gets these dents pretty easily. You can especially see that in the Sakura notebook here. It kind of has that very soft type of material. But after using the notebook a while, I don't really notice that anymore. I actually think that these look very beautiful nevertheless. And also one really good point about these is that it's really easy to keep clean compared to the linen type covers that some other notebooks have. But anyway, these notebooks are also available in a smaller size, so just be sure to choose the right one you want. The A5 size is the most standard bullet journal size. It's the same with the Archer and Olive A5 and also Leuchtturm and Scribbles that matters if you're familiar with any of those notebooks. But yeah, in my mind, these notebook therapy journals are easily comparable with other popular journals, as I said. And they're honestly a very strong option in the market, in my opinion. I know many of you are interested to see the paper color comparisons, so here's this notebook next to my other 160 GSM notebooks. And as you can see from the footage, I'd say that the paper color is as close as it gets to the Archer and Olive and Scribbles That Matter paper. All these three definitely have that pure white tone compared to some other notebooks I have, which have more or less of that ivory color. You can see how big that difference is here very well. I personally prefer the pure white tone because I think artwork and stickers look better on it in my opinion, but I know there are also some of you out there who would like a slightly less crispy white paper. But then let's move on to a pen test so we can see this paper in action. So I've gathered some of my microns, colorful brush pens, and even 2 of these black pens that definitely show through in notebooks that have thinner paper. And the results are super impressive, as you could expect. There's absolutely nothing showing through, and I even took a picture of this notebook page with my phone to show the page in more natural lighting as well. I've done this same pen test to all my other notebooks as well, so I'll show some of them here so you can kind of get the idea of how the paper thickness affects to the amount of ghosting. I've personally reached a point where I don't want to use any journals with less than 160 GSM paper anymore, and also the paper color needs to be that white tone for me. Luckily, it feels like there are so many new bullet journals like that coming to the market all the time, so it's not that difficult to find one anymore. And I think nowadays is much more about the design and that kind of stuff. But anyway, let's also do a quick watercolor test that I've also done to all these other notebooks. I always say that if you use watercolors lightly and don't expect to get a perfect blending experience, you're definitely able to create some simple illustrations directly onto your notebook. However, as with all the other notebooks I've tested in the past, I think you can see how the paper starts to kind of break apart pretty easily when you work with the same area for too long, and it also causes the paper to wrinkle quite a lot. That being said, I've been able to create many watercolor and gouache paintings in my notebook these past months. I haven't really noticed any difference with this journal compared to the Archer and Olive or Scribbles That Matter journals that I've used in the past. So I would say that with paints, this performs as any other bullet journal would. If you want to create some bigger or more complicated artwork, I'd highly suggest buying real watercolor paper and then just gluing or taping the final picture to your journal. This is the approach I've mostly used, and I think it just gives you so much more freedom with the paints and also much better results. But again, small simple drawings that don't use too much water are definitely possible to create directly onto the notebooks as well, so I think that all comes down to personal preference. Then as our last paper test today, I'll just quickly show you how this paper works with these alcohol-based markers like the Copic ones I have. But I think as many of you using these kinds of markers could probably guess, they don't work on these notebook papers at all. They definitely bleed through a lot, but they do that with almost any paper, honestly. I don't even expect a bullet journal to handle pens like this because I'm already having a hard time even finding actual sketchbooks that would have zero bleed through with these. But yeah, unfortunately, buying these for bullet journaling might not be the best idea. Then something I often get asked is how these bullet journals work with fountain pens, and I actually just ran out of ink, so I couldn't show the results with you in this video. However, I've done a fountain pen test with the Scribbles That Matter journal in the past, so since the paper feels very similar, I'll show you those results here. I'd say they are definitely usable, there's no bleed through or ghosting, but the ink feathers a tiny bit in my opinion, and I think the overall writing experience is maybe not as smooth as you would like. I do think that the notebook therapy paper feels a tiny bit smoother than the Scribbles That Matter paper actually, so the results with this might be even a bit better, but I would still double check that from somewhere else if that's a deal breaker for you. But yeah, I guess that's pretty much all the technical stuff out of the way. As for my own experience, I've definitely enjoyed using this notebook therapy journal, and I would surely buy these again. One of the best things about this brand in my opinion is that they have so many pretty and unique designs, and they come out with new notebook collections all the time, so there's definitely something for everyone. I honestly think this is definitely one of the best bullet journal options on the market, and I'd easily put it to the same category as the Archer and Olive and Scribbles That Matter. So I think it all comes down to design, price, and maybe personal preferences between those brands. The user experience with all of these is pretty much the same. If you've been interested to buy one of these, I do have a 10% discount code for you guys, as I do for some other brands I've mentioned in this video. You'll find all of them from the description. The codes benefit me a little bit as well if you use them, but as I said in the beginning, I've bought the journal I've been using with my own money. All these opinions are my own and no one asked me to make this review. I try to keep these as honest and throughout as possible, so they are here to help you guys decide which bullet journal to choose. But yeah, I guess that's finally it. If you have any further questions, just leave them in the comments below and I'll do my best to answer them. And if you're new here and you're into art and journaling, please consider subscribing. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you're having an amazing day or night wherever you are, and see you in my next one. Bye bye!